Hello and welcome to another post-game edition of the Silver Bulletin. I'm James King, and we have here, of course, our Lantern of Sports editors, Colin Haas-Hill and Edward Sutland. Ed, I wanted to go ahead and get your initial impressions of this game.
My initial impression is that it's freezing out here right now.
Yeah.
I do appreciate you talking fast, though.
Yeah, that's the first thought. Second thought, the offense seemed to be clicking about as well as it possibly could have. I mean, JT seemed in sync with his receivers all night. He didn't seem to be pressured very often, and whenever he did, he seemed calm and comfortable, just roaming outside the pocket, sometimes taking off down the field, oftentimes just scrambling long enough to find an open receiver. He looked about as good as he has all season, and I think that heading into the biggest game of the year, this offense seems like it's ready to compete against Penn State.
And the one thing that I will say is when we talked to them in the post game, when we talked to them in the post game, for the last 4 weeks they've just had this same attitude where it's just game by game by game. They have this level head, and they rarely talk. They haven't talked about Penn State. Honestly, today they barely talked about Penn State. They've just been focused on this day-to-day improvement. And a lot of times when you hear that, it feels like BS. But they're sort of proving that it's not for them this year, and I'm really impressed by them right now, specifically JT and the receivers.
Yeah, now, in the postgame, they talked more about their practice this week than they talked about the result in this game.
And they sort of did last week, too. This is apparently, and we can't see this, because we are not allowed to go to the practices, this is a real thing that is happening, and I don't know, they're practicing better than ever, and it's showing.
Yeah, now, when you talk about playing against a team like Nebraska, it's a storied school, but hasn't had that great of a year. What can they take from this game?
I mean, I think what they can take from this game is that this is probably the second best opponent. Maryland might have been better, but when you throw in the home factor here for this being in front of Maryland, Nebraska's fans, this was a tough opponent. And to a degree. Let's face it, they have struggled this year. There's no doubt about it. But this isn't UNLV, this isn't Army, this is a legit Big Ten team. And it's a team that it gave Wisconsin a run for its money last week. And what it showed was that, this team is, like I said earlier, it's ready to compete, but it can head into hostile environments and really give opposing teams a run for their money.
And 5 games ago, after the Oklahoma game, what the whole point, what we were saying was, don't get fooled by these games. Yeah. Well, the thing is,
it seems like
all right. It's Army, it's UNLV. We're getting a little bit up. We got Maryland. Now we're up to here. Now we're up to Nebraska. The problem is Penn State's like all the way up here. It's about off the screen.
Yeah.
TBD on whether how well they're gonna play against Penn State. I'm sort of buying in on how good the offense has looked. I don't think that we're going to see the Oklahoma offense again. Ohio State's not going to look that bad. I just refuse to believe that. Now, if they'll be as good as they need to beat Penn State, we'll find out.
Debatable. Now, they did leave the starters in a little longer than they normally would in a game like this that was a blowout. Urban chalked it up to them scoring a couple of touchdowns. They just wanted to get a little bit more comfortable for get a little bit more field position cold for an offense. Is this? We saw Jalen Holmes, Paris Campbell got hurt, and then I believe another defensive lineman got hurt. When you know that you have a team like Penn State in 2 weeks, is it smart to be holding your starters on the field that way?
I'll be honest, I told Colin this up in the press box. I thought it was pretty crazy that JT and the rest of the starters came out for the fourth quarter. And when Jamarco Jones was laying on the field injured, and what possibly, if he was actually hurt, that could be the most devastating injury Ohio State could suffer on the offensive line outside of Billy Price.
I think on the team.
On the team, very possibly, I thought that it was, I'm not going to chalk this up as, oh, well, they needed to add more points. Ohio State had this game in the bag. This was a bizarre move to leave the starters in as long as they did. And if Jamarco Jones is seriously hurt, Urban Meyer seemed to think that he wasn't. He does have, essentially 2 weeks to regain his health. But if Jamarco Jones isn't 100% for the Penn State game, that's not going to be great for Ohio State, and this could come back to bite them.
Early thoughts on the Penn State game?
Only thoughts on the Penn State game is I think everyone is looking forward to it now, and now we can actually talk about it with the players. I know Taekwon said this is a big game for him because of their line and because of Saquon Barkley and the fact that Trace McSorley can do all kinds of things. On the other side of the ball, it's a revenge game for Isaiah Prince. If he's the old Isaiah, Jamarco's a little dinged up, I'm a little bit worried if you're an Ohio State fan. I mean, I'm just really looking forward to seeing. We got 2 weeks of lead up. This is perfect.
Well, we'll see you in 2 weeks. That's all we got for you for this post-game edition of Silver Bulletin. Be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. We'll see you next week.